All right, you are now tuned into the Rotated Views podcast. I am your host, Jimmylee Velez. I'm here with Goose, Peck, and Gabe. Mission B33 Part 1. In this episode series, the crew is taking on a new challenge. We cover topics that range from challenge updates for week 1, ups and downs we experienced, results, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Abe Lincoln and Vince Lombardi. Guys, if you're new, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to download and subscribe to drop a new episode every Tuesday morning for your listening pleasure. Kicking things off, gentlemen.
Yo.
What up? Gentlemen.
Feeling good.
Feeling real good.
Feeling
All right.
good.
So, some of you may know, I believe it was episode 325. We talked about Mission B33. We had the crew, including Angelo. Angelo will be back with us next week. And we're having 9 elements of this challenge for 33 days. It's titled Mission B33 because it's 33 days to live your blessed life. And so let's go through the 9 if you have not had the ability yet to listen to episode 325. We're going to go through the 9 elements, and then we'll talk about each of them for week 1, because we're 1 week in.
Yep.
All right, so 1, drink at least 1 bottle of water upon waking up. 2, stretch/work out for 20 minutes, ideally cardio. 3, pray/meditate for 10 minutes. 4, study/read for 10 minutes. The book, specifically Blessed and Unstoppable by Billy Alsbrooks. Read/recite affirmations for 3 minutes. Write down one thing. Number 6, write down one thing you're grateful for. 7, intermittent fast for 1 meal, ideally breakfast. Number 8, multivitamin/related supplements. And 9, social media fast. All right. So let's jump right in. Initial thoughts on week 1 or initial, commentary. Anyone want to say anything?
It's like a good pickup again, coming back to it after obviously it's been a few months since we officially talked about it, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's even little small things adding to it. It's a nice little addition to make it feel different enough than what we did the first time.
I feel like this is a totally different challenge. It feels that way.
Yeah.
But thinking of it, it's a different challenge. But I felt like the first one in November sort of was prepping us for this.
Yeah.
Because now I feel like
to kind of see what we can
do.
I
think my approach is way different than when for week 1 on the initial challenge. Yeah. Now I feel like I have way more to strategize around and bring to the table when it comes to experience.
Because especially with the book, since we're actually all we have something specifically to read, it's that kind of makes it feel easier. Not easier, but it makes it something to look forward to, especially the content of the book itself too.
Yeah. And it's engaging. And each whatever day, so we're reading the book titled Blessed and Unstoppable by Dr. Billy Alsbrooks. And he has a 30, here it is right here. He has, actually within the book, there's several things within it, but there's actually a 31 day, I don't even know what he calls it, 31 day, devotional or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And so, but it's awesome because each day is only 4 or 5 pages long. So you're not. Yeah. And it takes about, if you're actually digesting the information, it does take about 10 minutes anyway. So it's this is perfect. Mm-hmm. And so I just thought to that point, it sort of made this a little bit more engaging, I think.
Yes. 100%.
I think another element, which would be extremely hard to do based on everyone's schedules, is to take this a whole other level crazier, is that the same thing but with working out. Everyone works out together.
Yeah, sure.
That's taking it to a whole other, whatever. But obviously right now, it's different. So we'll get into each one, but I just wanted to get some initial thoughts. So with that, how would you guys compare this to the challenge we did in 2022?
This one, I actually looked forward to it right from the get-go.
Yeah.
The first one was, I guess, like I said, it was a feeler. So I was just feeling myself around it, and I had the motivation to do it. But there's something about this one. It's I'm excited to do it. I honestly I wake up in the morning. I'm chug the water, do my prayer. Do my routine and just get myself together. And then Depending on where I'm at, if I'm at home for the day, then I'll read during like a 15-minute break. That I don't have like nothing going on. But when I'm at work, I'll take a 15-minute break and cut off to the side, like turn around away from my desk, and just read right there because it's a 15-minute break. It only takes like 10 minutes to read, like Jim said. So it's actually, I think it's exciting. I was excited for it.
Goose?
No, yeah, for me it's the same thing. So the first challenge definitely was like the preset for everything, and I know
that was like preseason.
Yeah. So it's like
season.
So for me, like I keep saying, the hardest part was the whole reading and staying with the reading. Now that we all have the same book, we all have to read, right?
Yeah.
And Angelo's on board, works with me at the barbershop. He sits right next to me. So for me now, it's like I gotta read this. I gotta like comprehend it too. Yeah. So there's a couple like times where I was done the chapter, right, and then the next day I'm like trying to remember exactly everything. I went back, read a little bit more, and then start the next one, kind of just to keep it going.
What makes it easy is that you don't have to look for content. You have a book there, so it's not like you have to like, dang, what am I going to read today?
So even with the book, the first the first second chapter, right? So I've been doing my meditation and praying. It tells you what order you should do your meditation or prayer in, pray for others, pray for it's like I did it differently in different order, which I mean I don't think it matters, but like if you want to kind of stay in sync with it, I changed my order on how I did things. Mm-hmm. So it's like
gave you a framework.
Yeah. So as I was doing stuff, the way I normally would do it, just reading his book, now it's like it's actually good information on how to do things differently, and it's like so it's making me not just like routine-ish. Yeah. Now it's like, all right, I'm switching my routine, how I used to do things, and that was like one of them. But like reading the book, it's like I'm sitting there, I'm cutting hair, and Ange has a free time, and I see him reading the book. So I'm like, all right, my free time, I'm reading the book. Like I want to beat him. I want to. It's like a race. Not that it's a race, but it's almost like
first for the day.
Not even that
competition.
Yeah, and not even that. It's like I'm gonna like. When he talks about it, I want to understand what the heck he's talking about. Or if I talk about it, I want to make sure I comprehend what he's saying, you know? So it's like, in with all of us in a general conversation, I want to be able to like keep up with the conversation, not understanding what you guys are talking about. I'm like, because, and there was a day that I got so busy at work, I missed a chapter. So the next day I read 2, you know what I mean? I caught up with it. And so, but yeah, so it definitely keep me accountable with, and that was like I said, reading was one of my hardest things, and that's like honestly that's like my biggest excitement is that this book. Yeah. It's so weird, but it's
and it's easy like to get into because there's a small-ish passage, but it has a bunch of quotes and has a bunch of little mini prayers. So
it's not the same. It's not the same thing. They switch it off. Like he does his little preaching sermon kind of thing, and then he does like the questions, then he does the affirmation of the day, then he does. So it's like it's all over. Yeah, so it's not just the same thing. You know what I mean? Exactly. They can. For me, that's what would bore me. Yeah. You know, I was just my attention would just kind of fade away from
just like 20 paragraphs of something.
Yep.
Yeah. And the fact that it has little mini prayers and stuff, and they'll kind of give you examples of what to kind of follow along with. So
So if you follow the book, it has. Even to Gabe's point, it has something you can meditate on. I mean, obviously, more than likely everyone has something they can pray on, whatever. But this assists, like, if you're kind of just like drawing a blank or whatever,
like stuck,
or at least it gets the wheels turning. I'm like, let's
idea.
focus on that. That's all. It's so awesome. So, all right. So 1 week in, Goose, I know you had mentioned you missed a day with reading. Overall, for everything, what has been everyone's results?
I seem like.
Did you hit every day with every single thing?
I hit it at some point at least at some point during the day. It's like it wasn't consistent for the most part. It seemed like this time it was harder to get back into like doing the workout thing.
Yes.
First time I was like I hadn't done it so long, so I was like I need to do it. So I was like I was more looking forward to that. Then I was like I had to like figure out a way to like kind of incorporate things, because even like kind of I think what you kind of mentioned last time was like you do extra walking, you kind of like you realize you think it's like 10 minutes is like 30 seconds or something. Because what I started doing, especially at work and stuff, is like I'm on the 8th floor, so it's like the stairs are right there, so it's like let me just take the stairs, and I did actually time it out. It was like a minute and a half to go up the stairs. It's like 45 seconds to go down, whatever. So I was like I must incorporate that. I've actually found like I was trying to look for like little YouTube videos and stuff, like little quick like 15-minute workouts and stuff too, to kind of like help out, along with that. So I know I'm actually doing that, and along with I go in and out of the building at least 3 or 4 times a day. So I was like those extra few minutes add to the whole thing. So I was like, and I'm doing like, I'm not just taking the elevator. I'm actually going up the stairs. So that's the extra like thing I wasn't doing before. I would do it once in a blue, but it's like being actively seeking out and trying to do that. It was like, I'm adding that to my routine, like to kind of just keep it going. So
I know. So with me, my job, I had the stairs also, and at some point, I remember when I first started working on the 4th floor, I was like, I'm gonna use the stairs to get my exercise in. Yeah, that all faded away.
Sure.
So it's like I didn't do it, but then I realized like to get my extra steps in and to actually do something other than working. I started taking the stairs at the beginning of the year before we started our challenge. I was like, I gotta continue going up and down these steps. Forget about that dang elevator. Just take it up and down. But for the most part, I did everything daily. And Friday, I got caught on Instagram by my brothers. I was sitting there. So basically, my neighbor is getting his house remodeled. So he sent me pictures. He sent me this one thing on Instagram. And then I looked at it, not realizing, and then I just kept going back and forth with him, texting.
You got stuck in
and
Instagram?
I got stuck in a loophole, and I saw this Volkswagen, and I sent it to them, and this dude, he's like, yo, stay off of social media. And I was like, oh, dang, I got caught real quick. I got stuck in that loop, and I was just like going like on my normal routine, going through the feeds, and I'm like, yo, I really got caught. Like, I sold myself out, too. Like, I literally forwarded them.
He sent it to
I
us.
sent it to them, to the two of them. And this dude responded quick. He's like, the teary eyes coming down on the emoji. I'm like, dang. So that was the only time that I actually ended up going on social media was Friday for that because of my neighbor. So I kind of blame him, but it's my fault for not.
For the social media thing, for me, that was the easiest. I don't know why. It was like, dude, I didn't fully delete the app. I just like put it in a folder where I don't see it.
Yeah.
So like even if I go on my phone, like I'm on a routine, I would go boop or whatever, and it's right there. So now it's not there. So I'm like, all right, well, I can't get on it.
You don't
like,
see it out of sight, out of mind,
yeah,
right?
so it's like put it in a folder inside of a folder somewhere like. So I really have to get to it. But I'm like, I really don't even. There's other ways I can kind of like
communicate and stuff.
Yeah. So I start reading my emails more or whatever. Stay more consistent with that, or I just. Like check out the weather, check out like some like some apps I have with the stock. Like just check out all those other things that I kind of normally wouldn't check out as often.
Sure.
But now I'm like looking at those more often, and then just kind of like I don't know, googling some stuff here and there, or like looking up stuff that like I was
gonna say I got not caught, but I got more into searching on the browser and using more of the web than the actual apps.
Yeah.
So I'm like looking at stuff, and that's when I sent you guys the Ranger Raptor and all that because I'm just like on the browser instead of the apps.
Yeah, I using like news outlets more than ever.
Yeah.
So I'm like going to actual websites and just like digesting information differently, and it's definitely interesting because it almost feels like this was like I feel like I went back. I feel like where we sort of went back 5-10 years in doing that because I'm like, this is how we would navigate through the internet.
Sure, exactly.
And prior to like really being into social media, I think the biggest thing with that social media thing is I get tagged in so many things.
Sure.
So that's where it's like they pull you in. It's like even if you're off it, my wife herself is sending me stuff because we're so used to sending each other like just funny stuff just to make each other's laugh. Yeah, like so I'll tag her in something, or she'll tag me in something, or like inbox it, or DM her with like something funny. And then the worst part is we're in the middle of like the Super Bowl, and I'm in a couple Super Bowl pools. So there's like conversations happening on Facebook, and I'm like, dude, I'm totally out of this. Today, I had to tell Kel, I'm like, Kel, I saw something that I purchased a block off, somebody or whatever, and I saw they said Super Bowl block, and it just so happened I saw their name like come up on like
on the feed or whatever,
on my like what do you call like on my notification.
Yeah.
So I was like, we're mutual friends. I'm like, Kel, can you go to this person's like page and like take a picture of like I need to know what block I am. Because I can't even access it because everyone's assuming that this is not a normal whatever.
Yeah. That's funny.
Especially since I purchased the block through the Facebook.
Facebook, yeah. So I saw not too long, about a week or two ago, I was watching the news, and there's these kids that they're trying to stay off of social media. So what they did was they went out and bought old flip phones.
Huh.
So they kept their iPhones or their Androids active, put it off to the side, had their number still on the flip phone. So you see a lot of them like the classic Razr, like the Motorola Razr.
Yeah.
So they do texting and do all that stuff, and they'll go Monday through Friday on regular flip phone, and then Saturday and Sunday they'll go onto social media and use their iPhone and stuff like that. And of course they one of the guys said that he uses his smartphone for his emails. So I mean, I get it. But can't you go online like on a computer or a laptop or something and do it that way if you're gonna try and stay away from social media?
But then social media's there too. So
staying away from social media too. It's like, so any news, anything that comes on, you're getting someone else's perspective.
Sure.
So I'm like, oh yeah, I know everything that happened, but it's like from like, I don't know, like third tier down or for someone else's. But you're going on the phone, you go straight out on like the actual news. You know the actual what happened, the news actually what happened as it happened, as opposed to like something like, oh yeah, then people add, oh yeah, and then I think this is what else happened. It just gets fabricated along the way.
Of course.
So you get like the first like true story, and I'm like, wait, I've been listening to BS this whole time. What the hell?
But and that's why I kind of like, I had a news aggregate thing for a long time anyway. I kind of like that, like going to like whatever, Instagram or Facebook, whatever, it just became looking at articles I would find on the app anyway. So I kind of just went back there, and I found a couple times like, oh, you get a notification, I click, and I immediately had to like, I like, whoops, I had to like immediately close it. But it was like, I've gone back to using the app more actually like what I used to use it for, just like find the articles and stuff that I used to read anyway.
Yeah, I think what I realize I do a lot on social media is actually reading commentary. I think a lot of what I do is like half of my entertainment comes from reading people's responses.
Comments,
That's just as comical or as entertaining as the actual post itself. And so I think it was like absolutely crazy now that I think about it. I remember at one point Instagram was going to pull comments. And I'm like, I think 90% of the reason why I'm here is for the comments, honestly. Because that's just as entertaining. But to Goose's point, again, I'm using the word entertaining. I'm not taking none of this, not the majority of it, as factual. And so if I did find something that was pretty legitimate, my whole thing is like wanting to do research myself anyway.
Sure.
So that was a transition that's not hard for me because that's what I would do anyway. However, what I will say is there's an interesting amount of information we do digest off social media and perceive as an actuality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's funny because I think the first couple days it was hard, but I think it wasn't hard because it was social media. Like I think to Goose's point, I think it was just what I did. It was like part of like
a routine.
Routine.
You
know what I mean? Like it was a busyness to it or whatever. I can't.
It was a pastime.
No,
it's because technically I'm not missing anything.
No, yeah,
right now I'm like I'm not missing anything.
You grab your phone. It's a pattern with your thumb. So like I said, like normally I would swipe up and just hit Instagram, like off the rip. Now I like swipe up and hit something else, but it's like I'm not missing Instagram.
Exactly.
It's just like the pattern, like I don't know. You're
just a force of habit.
Yeah, completely.
The one thing I will say, my wife brought it up to me, said I should have done, was sort of put out like an announcement that I'm going on.
Yeah.
And I mean that in like, not that I'm popular or not, but I think people don't know, and then I'm getting like tagged and stuff, and then they like, even yesterday, Tara and Chris were like, dude, we tagged you on like so many things, because I'm typically, same thing, I have all these different groups, and our humor is different in every single group.
Sure.
It's totally different. Like Goose, me, Lauren, and Kel are on one, and we're sending each other people like, whatever, getting, falling or something funny happened to them or whatever. That's that group. Heck, me and Goose were sending like dope cars or dope whatever. And then like me and Evan have a totally different kind of humor that I'm sending him stuff. And then me and like Scott DeVore have our own like little thing about entrepreneurship and like Christianity or whatever. It's like I have all these segmented ways of communicating with people, and a lot of it is via social media. So I'm not technically, I think the communication is just different now. But I realize I'm like, I don't know if I'm actually missing anything. I guess is what I'm saying. Is like, it's just me digesting information in a different way. And like I said, it's definitely entertainment, because I still know what the weather is. I still know what's going on in my government. I still know what's going on around me.
Yeah.
I'm not technically missing anything. It's just there are things like what's new, like music-wise, or what's new fashion-wise. The Instagrams of the world, you kind of get that right in your face soon as it pops off in real time. Whereas, this other, way of naturally like researching or looking at things, you're going to be a little bit delayed. Another thing I realized was I have my, Amazon bill has increased because now I'm searching on eBay, Amazon, on these websites. I send the guys like a thing like, hey, look, Macy's is having a sale. Like literally I send to a group guy text message. They're like, awesome, we're going to check it out. We can't be on social media. So I found that I'm buying mad stuff. I'm like, what? Because that's my, what do you call it? Like it's like my wind down time. Like the kids are asleep, so everyone's whatever. I'm just on there laughing my butt off on social. It's literally a lot. So we have 2 TVs. One's out of commission. We basically have a TV in our entire house. So but a lot of it is to force us all to be in a room together outside of dinner because we eat dinner together. Tables off or phones off the table type thing. And it's a very old school, way of building and strengthening our family. And but one of it is we digest whatever's on TV together. So a lot of it is cartoon stuff. Yeah. But after 9:30, the kids are showered and going to bed and whatever. That's when I get on social media and I just like find funny things or whatever. Just the other thing is I tap back into like hardcore, which. I've never unplugged myself from YouTube, right? But I think with YouTube in the past, it's a lot of it was just it's research based. Yeah. So what we were talking about earlier, like you get into like a fad or something you want to do research on, you're seeing what other people recommend, top 10, whatever, right? Yeah. Like perfect examples, top 10 like pocket knives or something like that, and then these dudes are doing all these reviews. That's how I was like, and music is when I was digesting and then driving into work, which I still do, is listening to a sermon, right? Well, now I'm like looking up just random stuff because again, that component of entertainment is missing from what I would get on my wind down time from social media. Yeah. The other part is what the reason why I still have Facebook and I still stay connected with Facebook is because the older generation, that's their go-to. Yeah. And so I stay connected with older relatives and friends through that because that's what they use. Right. It's not YouTube or Instagram and Facebook are very different. Where I connect with like younger people or my age on Instagram, and then the older people
Instagram more than Facebook.
Yeah. The other people are like family members. That's where we connect with them. Sure. Otherwise, honestly, like I wouldn't have been connection with a lot of my aunts and uncles if it wasn't for Facebook, and that's the truth. Like I'll send a text message, and you could look at them. It literally says, "Happy Easter, Happy 4th of July, Happy Birthday, Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year." Right. And it's all 1 year, 5 text messages. Like that's the only time I'm communicating with them. Yep. Happy Father's Day or Happy Mother's Day, and that's it. But social media is like I'm sharing images of my kids and my family, and then they comment, and then it's crazy because then we'll see these relatives come down from out of state, Florida or whatever, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I remember when you posted this," and we have a whole other dialogue that I would have never had in the past. Right. So there's definitely that appreciation for it. Yeah, that's very interesting. But anyway, all right. So let's talk about a little bit of week 1 results let's go back to working out. You guys had talked about it, but I didn't get to say anything on that. So the working out, I came up with a routine that works for me, right? And I keep every day I make adjustments to it. So right now I'm like, the only thing that's messing me up? This. Because it's not in the order I do it. So it's like weird. So like I'm Xing down, up, and then going back up. And this one should always be empty until the following day, social media fast. Yes. And you can tell on mine it's not completed for today. That's because today's not over.
Makes sense.
And so the next day, that's when I'm like, all right, I did it. Good, bang. But I stayed with, but I stayed with my routine and have been sharpening it. But to go back to what we were talking about previously, the challenge that we did in 2022, that felt like that was like the prep for it. Because I almost knew I was like calling myself out on BS.
Yeah.
I couldn't come up with any more excuses. I think to Heck's point earlier, you're excited and you guys were saying, I think it's also a fresh year. I feel like you're allowed this fresh start, and we're in the top part of the year.
Yes.
Right? So it's only February. Right. And we started this, and I just think it's just such a good thing. But what's cool is now Kelly's sharing that, my wife is sharing with other people that, he's not on social media, blah, blah, blah. Oh, why? Why is he not? Oh, he's doing a challenge, blah, blah, blah. And then people are asking for this. Yeah. Oh, can I check that out? Can you send that to me?
That to you
I have people
Facebook.
that ask, because me and Angelo has his, you can see he has it posted on his window, so people are on his mirror. So people are asking, so he's showing it, whatever. Like, they walk over and look at it, and I show them mine because it's not posted to the glass. So they look at it like, yo, can I get a copy of this? I want to do this. Like, I want to do like on their own. They want because like the significance of each thing is it hits everyone. You know what I mean? And it'll put you in an organized place daily. Like, So, and that's what was dope, that we did it at the beginning of the year, not January, but we still did it February, that's a lot of people have New Year's resolutions, so this a lot of it is part of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. That if you weren't going to start it, this will boost it. Good start. Yeah.
So, all right, so let's talk a little bit about the praying and meditating. I think for the most part, everyone was already somewhat doing this to an extent, but how are you guys with it? How are you incorporating it into your routine? When do you do it? When's the best time for you?
I mean, I mainly do it like when I get up. I get up, making my coffee. I'll make the coffee and I'll just stand in the kitchen and just give myself 10 minutes, 15 minutes, pray, or while I'm getting changed in the morning, go to work or whatever. And then there's days when I'm at home, I sit in the kitchen and my laptop's right there, right in front of me, and I'm just start doing it right there. So, I mean, it all depends on what day it is, like if I'm going in the office or if I'm staying at home. Mainly in the mornings is when I do all mine.
Goose or Gabe?
Yeah, no, I have my routine is it's very simple. It's basic. It's the same thing pretty much just about every day. Yeah. Because so I wake up at like 6:30ish around that time, and then I don't have to be work till 9 or 8:30, whatever. So I have a couple hours where I can like do the bulk of the stuff was the vitamins, the working out, stretching out, I could do that before I even get to go to work or even hop in the shower. Yeah. So like where before I would just like wake up at 6:30, talk to my daughter on the phone while she goes to school, and then go back to sleep or just kind of bum around. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now, or be on social media until I went to work. Yep. Now it's like, let me knock these things out, get them done early, whatever I can't do, and I'm not rushing everything, it's all within time, and then spread out everything else throughout the day.
Yeah, so like on Saturday, I did everything within an hour. I think it was like an hour and a half of time frame that I got up 7 o'clock in the morning Saturday, and I banged everything all out. I was like, let me just get it all out of the way because I know my time, like, it's going to get caught up with the kids, and especially with the kids, they're not in school, so they're going to be, Dad, or my wife's going to send me off to go do something. And sure enough, I'm glad I did it Saturday morning, like early in the morning, and just got it done and over with. So, I mean, you can pretty much get it done if you have enough time, like an hour and a half. Yeah. Get the whole thing done.
Yeah. Easy. And that's the whole point. Honestly, it's literally called B33. It's 33 days of living your best life. It's a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. That's the point of it. Eventually, you want to get out of the checking off boxes business.
And
you know what I mean?
Mentally,
like, that's just who I am. This is what I do.
Yeah. So going back with the whole like reading a book thing, I was like, at first I was doing it here at the shop. Then so I go home. Lauren, she naturally reads a book. Like after dinner time or whatever, I'm watching basketball and she's reading a book. I'm like, dude, maybe that's my time to do it while she's reading a book. Yeah. It's like without even saying it, it's read time. You know what I mean? That's what I've been
silent sustained reading. Remember that shit?
SSR. That's all. So that I'm like, dude, without even knowing it, that's kind of what happened. It's like that time when we were like reading books. Bunch of old people like about to go to bed and reading books and drinking coffee. But yeah, that's what it's kind of coming down to. That's like I feel like that's my best time.
What about you, Gabe?
Like everything else, I'll do like more morning or like a little bit during the day. But I've always done like at least during the week, I do the reading and the meditation stuff after like dinner.
Okay.
Like that's kind of like that.
Yeah,
Like
cool.
that capper there.
Yeah.
Everything else I kind of just knock out. Like I said, like the water and everything's first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Throw the vitamins in and just chug the water all at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just knock that
Yeah,
out. right
pretty
there.
much. It's
And,
like
and
that.
what I've been doing, at least like Thursday, Friday, and like at least today was I've been doing like that. I find like a little 10-minute workout in the morning first, and just start the day off. And then
Yeah,
just,
that is like-
and then get ready for
That's-
work and stuff.
I don't care what
That
anybody
actually-
says. I'm telling you, it's like get up 10 more extra minutes. Just knock it at the exercise part.
Yeah, I was just saying,
because you're not.
stretching and
The
all that,
day is just gonna. And I almost did it today, where I was like, you know what? After work, I'll jump on the treadmill. And then I'm thinking like, well, after work on Mondays we have the podcast. I'm like, I love to squeeze as much time as I can with the boys because as soon as I get home, we're eating dinner. Once we're done dinner, dude, it's already 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I already got to start getting ready to come here. So like I try to give myself like a half hour playing with the kids, throw them up in the air a couple times. They do whatever they want to do. They want to play Legos. They want to watch something, whatever. And then because then by the time I get home, it's 9:30. And they're already getting ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
For on Monday nights. That's why I try to like not leave in a rush, but like try to leave in a timely after we're done packing up, whatever. Just keep it moving. One thing I did notice is that I'm extremely tired at night now.
Sure.
And actually, it's I guess cinch to go to bed. That's
Yeah.
because I'm like actually by the time by 6:15 I'm done to 90% of this list. It's funny though with the vitamin thing. I can't take vitamin. I can't just drink water and take vitamins. So
Really?
yeah, I have to have it with like something flavored. So I've been taking it with after work. So 5 p.m. I have my like a protein shake with me, and I take it with my vanilla protein shake. What that's doing for me though is also limiting how much I'm housing for dinner. So I drink the protein shake right before dinner. All my vitamins. Then I'm eating at dinner, eating a normal portion, not freaking 4 servings or helpings or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I have all the vitamins, and
control.
now once you get down a routine, your body's now adjusting to that's when it's gonna get. That's when I'm gonna take it. And I already have stuff in my stomach, so it's not whatever. 'Cause believe me, I tried so since. We were talking back to my teenage years when I was taking multivitamins and really, into the health thing. I just couldn't do it on an empty stomach.
Yeah.
It was just like, dude, it will come right back up. But my thing with the meditation, the prayer, it's to what Goose is saying. It's like, dude, as soon as I wake up, because it's like, dude, it just frames out the entire day. And then, like I shared with the guys, I even changed it even more. So what I did was I put everything as an alarm clock. So I get up for me, what works for me, 4:45. I get up, I go to Hex Point, I go grab the bottle of water or whatever, my water. I chug that, and I set the coffee thing on, and then I go boom, meditate for 10 minutes. Bam, at 5:05, I know that's 20 minutes later, but I give myself time to meditate because I know I'm brushing my teeth. I know I still got to freaking set the coffee, and it still gives me about 10 minutes to meditate or pray. Then at 5:05, I review goals. So I did it differently, where I'm writing everything out every day, and that takes about 20 minutes for me. Like for what I'm writing, I left the book at the house, and then at 5:25, I just sit back down again and just read through the affirmations. And then 5:30, 5 minutes later, I read for 15 minutes. Like we said, it actually only takes like 10 minutes here, but I put 15 minutes just in case I want to like reread something to make sure I'm capturing what. Yeah. And then I was like making sure I was circling something. So if you guys notice, I'm sending the guys a text message at anywhere between 5:40 and 5:45 because that routine is it's literally right there. I'm done at 5:45. Just once 5:45 comes, that's when I start stretching and I work out for 20 minutes or whatever. And dude, by 6:15, that whole routine's done. And I just go and shower. And I got to be out of the house right before 7 to go to work because I have like about an hour commute. So then, because my first meetings for the day start at 8:15. But it was interesting for me because I did it on the weekend too, the same routine.
Okay.
And that was very interesting because after I was done working out, I took a shower and went back to sleep. That was crazy. I did that from Friday into Saturday morning, Saturday into Sunday morning, 4:45, got up. And just started. I did the exact same routine every single day for all 7 days, which I don't think I've ever done in my entire life.
Wow.
Yeah, and so
me, once I'm up in the morning, like that's it. Like I'm just awake. So that's why it's just whenever I wake up. So like I don't sleep late on the weekends anyway. So it's like 7 o'clock, I just get up and do it. Like I pretty much that's when I would just crank everything out essentially on a Saturday, Sunday.
The other thing I noticed I was doing is and I know it's gonna sound so funny, but I'm cleaning more. Because again, I think the social media thing was like a busy thing, like it's just downtime. Like, well, I can't do all that. I researched all the news I even care to even look at.
Yeah.
So now I'm just roaming around.
You're doing
I'm
stuff you probably
straightening
should be
things
doing.
out. Yeah, dude, I was reorganizing my one shelf that had I have like a whole shelf of these various books. I reorganized them back to where the books should be. Like my survival stuff. I reorganized one of my on the way home packs, whatever the heck you call it, like a ruck pack.
Yeah.
I reorganized one of those. But then again, when everything's done, everyone's still sleeping. Like Saturday, Sunday, everyone was still sleeping. Not this Sunday. Sunday was a little bit different because everyone had to get up a little earlier. But Saturday, everyone's still sleeping. There I go. I'm on Amazon or eBay. I bought
buying everything.
Yeah.
That's
This past
funny.
weekend, we met. The Eagles had a pep rally in a local mall, and James really likes Boston Scott. We met Boston Scott. So then the next morning, again Sunday morning, but since I kept my routine, I'm sitting there and there you go. I'm buying on eBay, buying Boston Scott cards. It's so funny, dude.
Yeah.
I think I spent way more. Now that's gonna fade away, and I'm gonna stop that. It's because that's part of my adjustment or whatever.
Right.
But I definitely spent a grip this
replacing
past
something
week.
you
Yeah,
always
I'm
found.
That's funny you said that. So this weekend was a chill weekend kind of for us. There's no Eagles football. Eagles made it to the Super Bowl, so they get that bye week. So do the fans. They get that bye week to chill. But Saturday, I worked, right, and then we went to dinner and came home. It was kind of early, so I'm like, dang. So I'm on eBay looking at Tom Brady cards. I'm like, yo, he just retired this week. So I'm like, dude, let me see if I can get a card. Dude, I just kept going on, started buying this, and it led to a whole nother player. I'm like, wait, I think this person's gonna retire. So I tried to jump the gun and buy this. So I started buying football cards that I would never normally do, and spend a couple of dollars. Not that it was a lot, but I'm just saying it's something out of the norm than because I had that time to do that. Otherwise, I'd just be on social media and looking around.
Crap. Yeah, I mean, same thing with me. So last week.
So I don't know if it's a good thing then you're spending money.
Right. So I noticed that I had free time because I was able to. I added a subwoofer in my truck. Typically, I buy stuff and it just sits for about a good month. Everybody knows how I am.
Yeah.
And it just sits for a good month before I set it all up. Dude, I bought it. It literally sat for 2 days and it was already installed. And typically, like I said, it waits because I just my timing and I'm like, now I realize that social media is taking up so much.
Yeah.
It's a waste of time.
It's consuming.
It's consuming so much. So even this week, I plan on doing other stuff around the house. Even Saturday. So my wife went out. She had bingo. Dude, I cleaned the bathroom. I had my headphones on, and I was just listening to Joel Osteen and just cleaning the bathroom. Next thing you know, I'm disinfecting the floor in the living room. Then I started disinfecting the kitchen floor, and the kids are like, "Dad, what's going on?" I was like,
"You just built a brand new house."
No, you know what the thing was? Dad, is people coming over?
Yes,
I'm
that's
like,
what Kate said to me twice this
no,
week.
nobody's coming
Who's
over.
coming over, Dad? Because I'm cleaning up.
Yeah, I'm like,
so
no,
funny.
nobody's coming over. I'm just, Daddy's just cleaning, and I'm like, you guys rip and rhyme. Well, it's so bad that that's how social media has you, that you don't allow yourself to have extra time to do the things that you really need to do because you get so consumed with the social media.
You don't realize how much time it's
distracting.
occupying.
It's distracting.
Absolutely distracting. 100%.
I'm kind of glad I'm doing this so that I realize after this is over, you don't have to fast from it, but stay away from it as much as you can. Filter it. Now you know. Monitor it.
Yeah.
And see, you get tagged on something and you go see it, boom, 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 and then get out of it.
That's when this is over. I can't wait to see how many because I have the 2 platforms and I didn't even mess with neither one. Dude, I'm just curious on how many messages I got or how many times I've been tagged in something. Dude, I just it's actually turned into a game for me. I'm writing down a number. I'm like, yo, I wonder there should be, I don't know, 2,000 messages. Yeah, I don't know. Dude, because sometimes I get a crap load in one day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's funny.
Yeah. It's funny though because it's engaging. That's what makes it even more distracting. To that point, I get tagged in so many things, or people are sending me things just to they know I'm gonna laugh at it or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's oh my goodness. And dude, I'm telling you, wow, I have reorganized certain things so many times already, and it's only been a week. It's so funny. But that's funny you said the cleaning thing. Who's coming over? Because Cade literally said the same thing to me.
Yeah.
One more before we get into like some of the topics in the book. What about intermittent fasting? How's everyone doing with that?
I feel like
I think you guys were. I think everyone here was already.
Everyone was
already
already
on
on
the
the page. I mean, to me, that's to me. That's
I think
like
I
a
was the
normal
one that had
thing.
the biggest struggle.
Yeah, to me, that's normal.
Now it's like a normal thing for me, but
Yeah.
before when we did the November one, I was like, oh man.
Yeah,
And I was the one who suggested it, and I've done it in the past. I've actually water fast for 3 whole days in the beginning of last year. So I had the experience of like, I know this is a mental game,
Like a legit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And so I'm like, dude, you're not, you can get through this. I'm like, dude, you went 3 days without consuming anything but water.
Yeah.
So I know I can do it. And it was just a mental game. Now it's like almost fun. It's almost a celebration when noon hits. It's like, yeah, right, all right, we can do it. But to that point, I'm not starving either. Sure. Now it's like, all right, then you become selective. And so I think I'm going to change it back up, like with the fasting is going, straight for like a 21-hour fast and, sort of feed for 3 hours or whatever, which is dinner time. So it's almost also skipping breakfast and lunch. And then go back to just doing breakfast. You don't want to keep those things going for too long.
Sure.
Because that's not, always good. But I'm also like conscious of what I'm eating now too. Like what I'm actually eating. Where before it was just like, dude, you're just like shoving things up. I look at the time like, dude, you can't eat anything.
Sure.
So what I was gonna grab, like even like my drawers or whatever, at work, I have like little like
candy bars.
crackers, like not meal replacement bars, but like they're like that Nature Valley like whatever bars.
Granola
I
bars.
get
Granola
the
bars and stuff. Like,
the
we have a
Cliff
couple
bar.
of them.
The
Okay.
Cliff Bar, the MG Cliff Bars. That's what I use.
But that's like a protein bar, right? Or no?
Somewhat. I mean, I use it like if I don't go to lunch, I'll use that at work, and then I'll go home and then have something to eat. Like that'll just push me over.
Push you over a cliff.
Over the cliff. Right.
All right. So the final topic, obviously, is going to be the book. Just a few topics that Billy Alsbrook's sort of top, and that's what I talked about. That's what I was sending the guys. I just picked my favorite passage for the reading of the day. Just thought it was fun because the last time what we were saying was we got sort of disengaged by the end of the week. And so I'm hoping, like me sending something, or hey, it's like a reminder, like don't forget to read, dude, like whatever. I know it's probably obnoxious, but so the first one, he came right at us on day one. Is detox emotionally.
Yeah.
He was talking about forgiving, the people that you're holding grudges against.
Yeah.
And that was like that was day one. I'm like, whoa, this is some heavy stuff for day one, dude.
Smack it out now.
Yeah, so it's cool. So the setup is day one, he gives a Bible verse. Then he talks about basically that Bible verse. Then he gives a positive affirmation. Then he gives self-assessment questions, which he gives about like 10 to 15 questions.
Each time, yeah.
Then he gives today's prayer. Then he gives success quotes, which are all around that topic that was just discussed.
Yes, I like that.
So for day one of the ones I circled was from John Krakauer. When you forgive, you love, and when you love, God's light shines upon you. And then he has your action steps, so action steps to take for the day, and then inspiration for victory. It's just like another, his insight on, again, that topic. Then day two's get alone with God daily. So he's talking about, set some time aside every day, giving, your full attention. I love this. I use this part of one of my affirmations. I draw my strength from him, I draw my strength, wisdom, and peace. Men retreating alone in order to pray, meditate, and commune with God. Pretty powerful. And the quote that I picked for that one is, when your quiet times have become hurried, how can we expect to give God the adoration that is his due? It's a question. How can we receive the guidance that God is waiting to give? How can our hearts catch the glow of divine fire? How can we have deep fellowship with those purposes that are really nearest to the heart of God? I mean, he's coming straight at you. Yeah. Day three is adopt the mindset of the unstoppable. It gives, obviously, tips on how to become basically a champion, which I love. And the quote I picked for that one was, "I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit, suffer now, and live the rest of your life as a champion." Muhammad Ali. And he was talking about being a champion. And then, so just day 4, define your core values. Be a person that stands for something. Refuse to compromise or be swayed by emotions. I'll go with the Stephen Covey quote. "The ability to subordinate an impulse to a value is the essence of the proactive person. Reactive people are driven by feelings, by circumstances, by conditions, by their environment. Proactive people are driven by values, carefully thought about, selected, and internalized." This is such good material. Day 5, create a powerful vision. Vision is the genesis of all greatness. That's his first opening line.
Yeah.
I mean, the Proverbs verse he gives, "Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he." I mean, this is like...
And the Helen Keller one in there is like...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the first.
Yeah.
For this topic...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very first one.
Oh, yeah. The most pathetic person in the world is someone who has sight but no vision. Yeah. Helen Keller was blind, if you didn't know. Woo!
Yeah.
Some intense stuff. And then, day 6, which I think was the last for today, because tomorrow's technically day 7.
Day 7, yeah.
Follow your passion. The secret to success is building your life around doing the things you love. Excellence is impossible to attain without burning desire to achieve it. I'm not even going to read the whole thing. You guys need to just go ahead and buy his book and just whatever. It's
crazy because like at the barbershop, I had a cancellation. I was reading a book. I was in the corner reading, and my next client walked in. He went to the bathroom, and I was sitting right by the bathroom. He stopped in his tracks. He's like, "Yo, what are you reading?" And I just showed him. I'm like, I couldn't even explain. I'm like, and he's like in tune with us. So I'm like, "Yo, when I'm done, I'll just give it to you. You got to read this." He's like, "I'm not a heavy reader." I'm like, "Me neither." Dude, I'm actually we're 6 days in. I'm excited to hand this off to someone else.
You're inspiring
because I already
people.
got I'm already excited with the first 6 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can only imagine what the rest of the book has, and excited to give it to someone else to get the same reaction or feeling of whatever. But I'm sure there's multiple people I can hand this off to. But it's this is definitely a book you can hand off to someone else and get them started in the right direction.
I love it. So there you have it, guys. That's week 1. We like to wrap things up with quotes, and the first one is by Vince Lombardi. Before we get the Vince Lombardi quote, I just want to say we're going to do this. It's going to be a 4-part, 5-part series. And so we're just going to sort of have the conversation as we are now. I think today was a little bit more detailed, but next week's going to be cool because we're going to have the addition of Angelo. Yeah. And then see how we are 2 weeks in. Are we this hardcore? The first week is always might be the hardest or the easiest. You don't know. It depends on how excited you are and committed you are, right? All right, Vince Lombardi. Winning is not a sometime thing. It's an all the time thing. You don't win once in a while. You don't do things right once in a while. You do them right all the time. Winning is a habit. Unfortunately, so is losing.
Wow.
Abe Lincoln gives us our second quote. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other one thing. Mission B33 Part 1. Again, it's going to be a 5-part series. We talked about the new challenge. We covered topics that range from challenge updates for week 1, ups and downs we experienced, results, and much more. We wrapped the episode up with quotes from Abe Lincoln and Vince Lombardi. Awesome. Guys, thanks again for joining us. The Rotated Views podcast was produced for self-development purposes. Huge shout out to our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Blessed Lifestyle brand. That is BL3SSED.com. Also sponsored by The Motivation Files Unleashed. This motivational mixtape will be your fuel for success. Available on all platforms. Guys, don't forget to visit the website, JimmyleeVelez.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram @RotatedViews. If you have any inquiries or questions, email us at info@JimmyleeVelez.com. On behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, we wish you massive success. Stay blessed.